man, seeing this community, I mean, we have an awesome fandom. Seeing you guys rally around each other has been awesome to see. Very cool. And this is why I focus so hard on just building a fun sandbox, trying to better the customer experience as well. And I think part of that is,
why does he keep calling his universe a sandbox? Does he not understand what a sandbox is? Is this one of those like legacy character moments where he's saying something and he doesn't understand what he's saying? Like, a sandbox is interactive. It's an interactive world, like sandbox video games. You know what I mean? Like an MMO that's a sandbox or something like that. It's interactive. You are able to go in and interact with the thing that you are doing, whether it be playing a game or something along those lines. That's what makes it a sandbox. That's the idea. You can build sandcastles in a sandbox. Reading his books and watching his trailers, that's not a sandbox. It's just not. I'm confused. He keeps saying it, but he's talking about the fans of the Rippaverse, not the people writing and drawing and coloring and inking and lettering. He's not talking about those people. He's talking about the fans of the Rippaverse. It's not a sandbox. I wish he would stop saying that. That doesn't make any sense.
Is some of what we're doing with the memberships on our website and just making it overall interactive and giving you guys a place to hang out with each other, talk theories, talk fun, because that's what this is about.
Why would they need to do that? It is 2024. It is 2024. Let me ask you a question. Who would go to the official Marvel app to talk to people about Marvel stuff? Maybe it's me, but people are on Instagram, they're on Twitter /X, they're on Reddit. They are interacting in other places. I don't know anyone who goes to these official places to talk about stuff regularly with other people in 2024. I don't know anyone that does that. That feels like a big waste of time and energy. There's actually a Rippaverse Reddit. There is a Rippaverse Reddit, and it is dead. Yeah, so this is the Rippaverse Reddit. And right now, there is a grand total of 3.2K members. That's not 300,000. It's not 30,000. 3.2K members with 2 people online. Now, this is the Rippaverse Reddit. Reddit is a place where, look, Reddit can be toxic. It can. But Reddit is a place where if you want to go engage with like fandoms for stuff like this, you're going to find people there. You are. Apparently, when it comes to the Rippaverse, nobody's there. Looks like digital tumbleweed.
You know, when I jumped into the Rippaverse or started conceptualizing it, and I kind of floated it out there in the public, which made me commit to having to do this. And I was never going to half-ass it. Did I envision that this would be this multi-million-dollar success? No, never anticipated that. That said, I always was going to take this serious.
Wait. So you invested over $300,000 into a business that you didn't think would make $1 million? You spent $300,000 and you're saying you didn't think you could reach $1 million? I'll be honest. I always expected Eric July to make money at least off of the first comic book. At least out of the first one.
And, you know, it's been a change, taking some getting used to, not only for myself, but for everybody that's out there. I have a video that I have prepared for you guys talking about this, or that I am preparing for you guys kind of talking about this. You know, me focusing on being a professional, focusing on just making material and building this universe.
What are you making? What are you actually making? You're not an artist. You're not a great writer. What are you making? You've got the Saska sisters in charge of almost everything from the Rippaverse. They did Yaira. They're doing Bloodruth. You have Chuck Dixon doing something. I guess ISOM 3, whenever that comes out. I know you did a video with Az where you talked about working on other stuff, but what are you doing right now? You're literally just running your warehouse.
And, growing the company, focusing on all that is not the best for my channel, for my main channel, Young River 59. I've already accepted that. I knew that. But let's be real. My time is best suited focusing on the Riververse. That is the thing. That is where I benefit the most as a creator.
Interesting.
I get the most fulfillment out of it. I am most happy doing this. And look, I'm being part of the solution. I've sat and griped and complained about things that I took exception.
Oh, shit. He lost another 1,000 subscribers since the last time I looked. He had 500 and I think 18,000 subscribers. 518,000. Thereabouts. Since last year to now, he is down to 505,000. So he has lost 13,000 subscribers since the beginning of last year to now. 13,000 people have unsubscribed from his channel since last year. How do you rationalize that when you're making a comic book company? You've got all these people attached to it, and you're actively bleeding subscribers from your biggest promotional tool, which is your YouTube channel. Wow. All right.
Exception to with major publishers, and I'm part of the solution. So ultimately, it was about fun. I know that oftentimes, just because of the wave that was happening, you get people that miscategorized my material. I can't speak for everybody else, but for sure my material, thinking that I was just against everything that was ever being put out, which is just such a, again, misassessment of how I approached even my content back then. We have plenty of positive reviews of other, I guess you can argue that there are competitors now, if that's what you want to call them. But so much material that I've loved.
Wait. So he's saying that now there's competitors for the Rippaverse? I thought you were competing with Marvel and DC. So who would be a competitor for you if you're competing with Marvel and DC? Are you saying there's other people out there in your space that would be at the level of Marvel and DC? Because in your mind, that's what you're doing, because you're always looking at the comic sales charts.
Spoke highly about. Hell, the writers of Yaira #1, I found out about them reading another company's comic book that I love so much. And that's because it's about fun at the end of the day. So where is my time best suited? Is it streaming every day? Is it focusing on other people's creative endeavors?
Well, clearly there's an issue with your channel, and you're going to have to decide at a certain point, are you making enough money off of the Rippaverse to justify basically destroying your YouTube channel? You're going to have to make that decision for yourself.
Or is it building this universe and taking advantage of the opportunity that the Lord has given me and all of you have given me by being supportive, by buying our stuff, because ultimately that's who we do it for. It's you. If there's no audience for it, we don't exist. So I've been blessed. I've said this publicly. I've stated it a bunch of times that I've been showered with blessings every time I create. And to me, that is a signal from the Lord.
What are you creating, though? The salvage PI thing is just a little insert in your Ripazine. You haven't actually put anything out officially since ISOM 2. All the stuff that's been coming out from the Rippaverse has been other people writing it, drawing it, and all that. You're literally just shipping it out to people.
Himself saying that this is what I am supposed to be doing. Not to say that I can't commentate on a subject or two every now and then. There's certain outlets where I get to do that. I go to Blaze. I can talk about what's happening on the political landscape. I have a show once a week, like For Canon's Sake. So those outlets do exist, but most of my time is best suited doing what I'm doing day to day, and that's growing this company, that's facilitating the company in general, being the EIC, and giving customers a fun experience and truly building this fandom. Because for me, comic books. I met a lot of people that I've become friends with.
So the issue I have with Eric and building his fandom is Eric doesn't take responsibility for the negativity coming from his fandom. And I'm not saying he can control people, because none of us can control what people who watch our content does. But if I had a bunch of people, say for example, I was a 200, 300,000 subscribe channel, and I had a bunch of people that were going over and actively harassing other people on my behalf. And I have this is in my every description box for every video I've ever made. I would say, I don't want you to do that. And that doesn't mean it's going to stop you from doing it. Doesn't mean that I'm going to say that and then people would stop harassing other people. It's going to happen. This is the internet. I'm not delusional. But I would publicly say that I don't want you to do that on my behalf. Because then you are not only publicly stating it, but you're giving people an opportunity to make that decision. Do I want to continue doing this? Because Eric doesn't want me to do this. So should I do this? Should I go out and harass people? It gives him that opportunity to make that decision. But Eric will never do that, because he realizes that conflict helps to sell his comic books. Outrage helps to sell his comic books. All of these things help to sell his comic books. And so that's why he does it. All of these other Rip-averse shills, he has those people doing that because of the fact that he realizes he financially benefits from that. It's not a good way to run your business, and you're going to run out of that eventually. It's not going to work forever.
With over the years through the nerds culture and sphere, but it was through fun, even through our arguments. So I've made this point before. One of the core things that I argue of nerd culture has always been arguing over what people would consider dumb shit. But it was always in love. It's one thing to love something and argue. It's another thing to just absolutely despise it.
Really? Really? You're going to look at the camera and say that? How many videos have you made on your channel in the last, I'll say 2 years, about Marvel and DC and all of these things that are done out of spite, that are done with vitriol, that are done with you just being so angry that these companies are not doing exactly what you want them to do? Those were out of love? Are you fucking serious?
Right? So ultimately, it's about building that fandom, because I want you guys to have so much fun. This is why I take this damn thing very seriously. My days are 13 hours minimum, bro, every single day, and it's 7 days, and I'm okay with that. Sure, there's a holiday or two where I might not, but for the most part, it's every day, and I'm working nonstop. I'm not afraid to go in the work.
Yeah, I mean, you're working like most people do. I mean, you honestly, look, the reality is Eric could have continued to do outrage farming on YouTube and probably gained subs from that and made a lot more money from that long term than what he's making short term with doing comic books. So it is a choice. It's definitely a choice.
Warehouse, go pack some orders. I'm not afraid of any of that, because it's about giving you guys a place to fucking be happy. And I know oftentimes people hate to see y'all happy.
Is it though? Really? It's about giving them a place to be happy. Don't you actively encourage them to go on the front lines and fight for the Rip-averse? I mean, literally your motto is hashtag we will win. It's not hashtag be happy. The fuck?
I saw a guy give as corny as it is, saw a guy give a great review of Yaira. Not the review itself, but there are those out there that get mad at people that are happy.
Hold on. Did he just say that someone giving Yaira a great review was corny? Did I hear that correctly? Hold on.
A guy give he's in the warehouse, go pack some orders. I'm not afraid of any of that, because it's about giving you guys a place to fucking be happy. And I know oftentimes people hate to see y'all happy. I saw a guy give as corny as it is, saw a guy give a great review of Yaira. Not the
what? hold on. He just called a great review of Yaira corny. Eric July just said, I saw a guy give a great review to Yaira, and as corny as that is. All right. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Review itself, but there are those out there that get mad at people that are happy. and it's crazy, man. There's folks out there that get angry. It's one thing
you just called it corny.
You're free to your opinion. It's one thing to think something is the worst thing that you've ever read in your life. That's fine. But it's another to be aggravated and angry with other people's happiness that isn't some sort of act of aggression, right? It's freaking comic books and people are having fun with it.
Yeah, except that's the community you've cultivated. It just is, Eric. Like, you've created a community of people that love to engage and be aggressive about it on social media. You've created that. Most of the interactions I've had with Ripaverse people that have been upset or mad for some reason, it's been coming after me first. I can't remember the last time, if ever, that I went after a quote-unquote fan of the Ripaverse first, personally targeted them, and then went after them. I don't think that's ever happened. But every single person that has ever argued with me on behalf of you came after me first. And it's because there's a Twitter account called Ripaverse Goalposts that promotes any negative criticism of you and makes those people targets. And you know this.
But I personally love to see how this fandom is forming, and I'm seeing these names and they're talking about theories and they're talking about what's happening in the book. And I'm like, dude, I have been given the opportunity of an absolute lifetime where there are a bunch of people that are willing to listen to me, willing to read our books, willing to at least give it a shot, and they've enjoyed it, right? And I get to wake up every day and do something that's pertaining to that.
Wow.
Not everybody can say that, and I love it. Not saying I love it. Nobody can say it. Not everybody can say it. No, I would love for other people to be great and succeed, but I love what I do, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And though I'm working harder than I ever have in my entire life, I'm as happy as I've ever been.
Okay, so I will say this. At the very least, that wasn't an angry video. At least he wasn't like being mad about stuff, but it came across very disingenuous to me.